respond to that attack. It's a live attack where, like, let's say, for example, I am a red teamer, and then maybe I'm hacking organization A, where there are blue teamers. Blue teamers are basically defenders. So red teamers are the attackers, blue teamers are the defenders. So as a red teamer, when I'm hacking an organization, if they do have blue teamers there, they should be seeing alerts on their screens and everything, and they should be attacking the organization in real time. It's more like you're fighting a war, like you're fighting each other, but in the digital realm. Yeah, so that's what red teaming is all about. And then penetration testing, which is like a subset of red teaming, it's a cybersecurity practice that involves simulating cyber attacks on computer systems, networks, applications, or other digital assets to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses before malicious hackers can exploit them. So what this means, as a penetration tester, when an organization calls you to say, we need you to do a penetration testing for our organization, what we do is we go there, they give us the scope, which is like the assets they have in their organizations, maybe the things we're supposed to do, the do's and don'ts, time frame, like we discussed all those things like rules of engagement and things like that. The main objective of penetration testing is finding the vulnerabilities within an organization so that we can document them and then report to the organization to say, like, oh, this is what we found and this is what the hackers can use to infiltrate your organization. And then once that's done, and once we do that, we compile the report, we submit. When they review it, they do what we call patching, meaning they have to patch their systems. And then after some time, we have to do a retest to see if those things have been patched or not. If they haven't been patched, again, they have to, they have to patch those things. So let me just highlight the difference between red teaming and blue penetration testing. Penetration testing
Okay.
Sorry, his mic is having an issue, but we're trying to rectify it.
Michael, you don't have a computer with you? Yeah, because if the computer would have joined, the computer is more better. My phone, yeah, can.
Sorry about that. We're having a short,
try to change
small
browser.
technical issue. So our trainer is back
copy the
on,
link
and I
here.
hope, yeah,
Then
he'll
you
share
go to
his
open another Chrome
slide and continue.
Let's direct
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. I was having some technical issues. So yeah, as I was saying, the main difference between red teaming and penetration testing is that red teaming, you mainly focus on how the organization will respond to a cyber attack in real time, and then penetration testing is about finding the vulnerabilities that hackers might use to infiltrate an organization. Then type of pen tests, we have internal and external. So internal pen test, this is where you look at the internal infrastructure of an organization to see how hackers can use that to gain access to critical information. So here you look at whether the organization, their internal network is compartmentalized, meaning like it's like should be supposed to be divided in a manner. For example, let's say if I hack finance, the attack shouldn't spread to other parts of the organization. You check for those things, you check their firewalls, all those things are set in place. And then external, we focus on the external environment to see how hackers can use the external environment to hack the organization from the outside. Some of the methodologies that we use when doing a pen test, we use OWASP Top 10. This is a methodology that mainly focuses on looking at the top 10 common vulnerabilities that are common for websites. Some of these vulnerabilities include broken access control. So if a site has this vulnerability, it can allow a hacker to access someone's, for example, let's say I'm user 1, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. So in that URL, if there's like your ID showing, let's say mine is 1. If your website has got broken access control, I can jump from 1 to 5, and then I'll be able to access that account of someone who's user number 5, which you are not supposed to do. So that's one of the vulnerabilities. The other one is injection. This is where you do SQL injection. There's also insecure design, vulnerable and outdated components. So some of these could be libraries. Maybe if you're using PHP, let's say you're using PHP 5.6, meaning that thing is vulnerable. You should update it to the latest version. And the other one is PTES. This is a penetration testing execution standard. This is a standard for when you're doing internal pen testing, mainly for networking. Like you're mainly focusing on the internal network of the organization. That's pretty much it regarding methodologies that are used. And then certificates. So penetration testing is a specialized field in cybersecurity, and earning relevant certificates can help you demonstrate your skills and knowledge to potential employers or clients. So what this means is, yes, you can have your degrees, your diplomas and everything else, but you also need some certificates for you to be recognized in the industry, or maybe stand a chance to get a job in the cybersecurity field. So some of the certificates, popular ones, I've just listed 3 here. It is Certified Ethical Hacking, CEH. This is one of the popular ethical hacking certificates. It is offered by can you hear me? Yeah, it is offered by EC Council, and this set will run you through what hackers do, the tools, and among other things. It is mainly theory based. To give you are given, when you're writing an exam, which is about 4 hours, you're given about 125 questions, and you're supposed to, like, the pass mark is like 85. Yeah. The other certificate you need to have is Offensive Security Certified Professional, OSCP. This is practical based, like it's hands-on. So you're given labs to hack, like you have to do the actual work. This is just you answering A, B, C, or D. You have to, like for example, you're given a lab, and then you have to gain root access to that. So yeah, you have to know how to navigate the system. You need to figure out how to deploy whatever it is that you have to deploy to hack the system that that you're targeting. Another set that is also like recognized is a certified penetration tester. This is also offered by EC Council. It is also hands-on. It's just like offensive security. You're also required to do practical work. There's no theory here. So yeah, you're given a live lab to hack, and yeah, if you manage, you get your set. Some other sites that you can use as a beginner, I recommend using TryHackMe. It's very good. You can also check Hack the Box. There are also some labs there that you can use to like practice your skills. So some of the things you need to know in this cyber security field as a penetration tester or anyone in IT. First thing is you need to know how computers work. I think this is self-explanatory. I don't have to explain. Like you just have to know the basic understanding of what computers do, how they work, and everything else. The second one is networking. You need to know your networking. I think this one is very important, especially in cybersecurity. Like it's very, very important because you need to know protocols. So if I say FTP, like you know where it's which port it runs on. When I say SMTP, you're supposed to know what it does and which port it runs on. You're also supposed to know the OSI model. That thing is very important as well. You also need to know programming. Programming, I would advise you to focus on like the languages you need to learn. There's like 1 Python, I recommend it. 2 Ruby. Ruby is very important as well. And C. Like these ones are popular, and like most tools that you use in Kali, they're either written in Python or Ruby. Not all of them, but most of them. So you understanding a bit of programming, it will help you a lot because most of the scripts you use is just like written, and they're handwritten in the tools. In case a tool breaks, you can read its code, and then you can modify. Because one thing about Linux is you can modify the tools. That's the beauty. If you know what you're doing, you can add your own features to the tool that's already there using programming, so long as you know the programming language that has been used. The other thing is operating systems. You should be familiar with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Linux distributions. So when it comes to Linux distribution, it depends on what it is that you want to do. Yes, so since this is a Kali Linux class or penetration testing class, we mainly focus on hacking distros. So some of the hacking distros we have is Kali Linux. I recommend this one because this one is easy to use because everything has been configured to you. Most of it has been configured to you. It's easier to understand. You can just like install and start running it right there, and then there's no need to configure most of the things. It's easy. I recommend this one. It has a lot of tools that you need, most of them. Parrot security is just like Kali. Yeah, this one is very good too. I use it time. So, but I recommend Kali Linux for beginners. Black Arch is good, but it's very complicated. For someone who doesn't know what they're doing, like if you're just new cybersecurity, I wouldn't recommend you using Black Arch. I've used it before. I mean, I'm familiar with these things. I know these things. So for me, it was like okay, but for an average person, it's very difficult. I wouldn't recommend for you to go with that. Like Black Arch is too complex there. There's also Black Box. Black Box is just like Kali, even though it has few tools. Oh, and one more thing, Black Arch has got more tools than Kali. Like there are a lot of tools there. But anyway, I just recommend you to go with Kali when you're just starting. Ubuntu is the same. Ubuntu it's also a good distro. However, it lacks a lot of tools for you to hack. But so meaning you'll be required to do a lot of installations here and there, this and that. It's not like Kali that comes with tools that are already installed, ready to use. But yeah, Ubuntu can be used as well. But yeah, you need to do some, there are a lot of things that are missing, like some of the tools that you need for you to do ethical hacking. Basic Linux commands. So these are some of the Linux commands that can help you to navigate and perform tasks in Linux or Unix distros. So one thing about Linux is, unlike Windows or Mac, you'll be spending more time using the terminal. Because like there's less of GUI, like graphical user interface. There's nothing like click, right click, copy paste here and there. Most of the things you are required to use the terminal. It's like when you're hacking a system, when you have access to the system that you've hacked, you won't be using the GUI. You just be seeing the terminal, which is like a reverse shell or a bind shell, meaning you need to know these commands. So the first one is where am I? Where am I is a command that you use if you want to know what you are running that system. Let's say you hack a system you are in. You have to know, are you root or you're just a low privilege user? So that's when you run where am I. Ping is a command that is used to test if a network or the target that you're trying to hack is online. So what you do is you ping. If it responds with some traffic and everything, you see that it's online, it's live. And then PW, which is like print working directory, is this command you run it if you want to know where you are. Because like when you are doing ethical hacking, sometimes things get messy, you don't know where you are. So you have to okay, if I have to move from where am I, so that I know where it is that I want to go. So what you do is you do pwd. You see most of these commands when I'm demonstrating in the book that I'll be hacking very soon. Yeah, it's like when you are in a house, you need to know where you are. Are you in the living room? Are you in the bedroom? And things like that. ls is used to list things that are in the directory where you are in. So you just do ls, you see the files, amongst other things. cd's change directory. Let's say, for example, you are like in home. You want to go to maybe, let's say, downloads. You need to know, okay, I'm in home. How do I move out of home to the download folder? So now that's when you use cd, you change directory. cat is used for reading files. So let's say you have a text file. You want to see what is written there. So you just use cat to show what it is that's in that text file. mkdir, which is this one here, it is used for making directories. Let's say you're in a system, you're trying to be for example, let's say you are doing a pen test on an organization. You found some sensitive stuff. Let's say they're everywhere. What you do is you can make a directory right there and then, on their system. You copy everything to that folder, zip it, and then transfer it to your thing. Just to show them oh, we did this, and just to prove that you are there and stuff. grep is used when you are looking for something specific in a text file or anything that it is that you are trying to see. Let's say maybe there's a folder full of names, right? Maybe there are 1,000. Instead of you going through line by line, you can just do cat, you pipe it to grep, and then you specify the name that you're looking for. So when you the things are printed out, instead of you seeing thousands of names, you just see that name you're looking for. That's the beauty of grep. If config command is used to see your IPs, let me just say your network, like your localhost network. That's why you see your MAC address, your IPs, among other things. And then CSP, which is secure copy. This is used if let's say you are in someone's system, and then you want to copy the files remotely. So it's you use secure copy, you specify the location of where the file is, the name of the file, and then you just press enter, and then those files will just be transferred to your machine. Some of the tools, one is the right tools for the right job. Some of the tools used by red teamers like me and the team here is Nmap. Nmap is a very good tool for when you're trying to do a port scan. So let's say you have a system that you're targeting, you need to know what ports are open, you use this. You can also use it, it's a very big tool, but in this case, we'll just be using it for port scanning. You see what ports are open, what service is running there, and you see what you can do with that. Metasploit is also another big tool. This one does a lot of things, but in this case, we'll just be using it to use exploits. So with this, you can create payloads using MSF Venom. It's part of Metasploit. You can also scan for vulnerabilities on a target. You can also do a port scan. It does a lot of things. You just have to know what it is that you're doing, and then you can use it. But in this case, like what we'll be doing today, I'll just use it for like deploying our payload and stuff. NetDiscover is a tool that you use when you're trying to list the network devices on your network. Let's say you hack someone's organization, you're on their network, you have to know what devices are there. So you just do NetDiscover, you list everything, and then from those IPs you decide like which ones are you trying to target. Are you targeting everything or not? DevSuite is also a very good tool. This one is used to intercept traffic. Let's say maybe I'm trying to go to Facebook, I'm running DevSuite. So when someone intercepts traffic, they can modify that to see if maybe they can get something out of that. Not only that, it also does other things. It does brute forcing, hacking, and other things. Is you can also use it to brute forcing and intercepting the network. GoBuster is used to list directories on a. Let's say you've had a website, and then there are certain things that it's not everything that you see on the sites that This one will just show you things that are visible to the naked eye. Let's say you hack a site, and then like there are certain things that you won't see. For example, like robot.txt, or maybe they're just files that are hidden. GoBuster, when you're using it with a word list, it will show you the things that might be useful to you as a penetration tester that are not open to the public. John the Ripper is a tool that we use when cracking passwords. I'll demonstrate in the box that I'll be doing. And then Hydra is the tool that we use for brute forcing. Let's say maybe there's a system you have to get in. You might know the name, but you don't know the password. But if you have let's say a word list for passwords, you can use that to brute force. Or maybe if you have the password but you don't know the name, you can just brute force the usernames. Sometimes you can have neither, so you can brute force both the usernames and the password. It's a very good tool. And then stages for CyberQChain. So CyberQChain, this one is by Lockheed Martin. This is CyberQChain. This is basically like a method that is used by organizations to see how an attack happened. So let's say an organization has been hacked. People, they need to know like how did it happen. So go like from the first step, how did they get our information? How did they get in? What method did they use? Like what was their objectives? So with the CyberQChain, this one by Lockheed Martin, the first one is reconnaissance. So at this stage, this is where you start learning about your target. You need to know what it is that they do, how you can get into their organization. So maybe if their employees, you see like who works there, what is it what they do. Sometimes you can use people to exploit an organization. So let's say you do the first step, which is reconnaissance. You learn about the organization. You understand the infrastructure and everything else. You now move to weaponization. Weaponization, this is where now you develop tools, malware or any malicious software that you use to hack that organization. So let's say maybe you're doing a recon on like reconnaissance, which is the first step on an organization. Then you find like, they use Windows servers. Okay, cool. So what you as a penetration tester, you have to see like, can I hack these people as their systems out of date? You have to try. So here you create a weapon, maybe like a malware, that you will then deliver. So when it comes to delivering, here now you can either use the email, the web, or the USB. It's up to you. So what happens there, just like the weapon that you've created, it will be delivered to the target. Once the target, like when that thing has been delivered to that target, again you come to just put down. You come to exploitation. If the system that you've targeted is vulnerable to the hack, and then your weapon, or rather the payload that you've delivered to that organization is like will be able to exploit the target. That will be able to exploit the target. Exploitation here will occur, and then from there, hackers will have access to the environment. Once they have access, they'll come to installation. So installation here is more like they're trying now to set up foothold in the organization. But by foothold is like meaning they want to sit on your network, like they'll be in the system and everything else. Once this thing is done, they go to command and control. Command and control is basically a server that will be giving commands to the to anything that has been installed. Could be malware on your network and everything else. So it will just be like, okay, are there any this kind of files on the network? Yes, those files will be sent to their command and control, which is a server. Okay, I want you maybe to like disable their maybe like 2FA. Okay, to do that, you just be like, it will be just communicating back and forth. Once that thing is done, you go now to action on objectives. This is where now hackers will do what it is they wanted to do from the jump. They are just to see what your organization is like. Were they there to steal your money? Were they there to like maybe to steal your emails? Based on whatever it is, that based on their motive, that's what hackers here will do. If maybe it's getting emails, or maybe just to show you that they were there, maybe they will leave a note. This is where like action objectives takes place, which is the final stage of the cybercution. Types of hackers. We have black hat hackers, white hat, grey, hacktivists, sponsored, and script kiddies. Black hat hackers are hackers who have malicious intent, where like you just hack organizations without permission. So just like wake up one day like, oh, okay, maybe there's this site that makes cookies, and then just like, okay, I'm bored, let me just see what I can do. You start hacking their websites, you see maybe the transactions, this way now them you still maybe like their credit card information, among other things. Their main objective is just like to make money out of it, yeah, and maybe ruin someone's reputation. And then white hat, which is where we fall under, it's like we are told by organizations like, okay, can you hack our systems, or just trying to do a pen test. So whatever we find, and then we report, it's like, okay, we found this and this and this, which we suggest you like remediate. Grey hat is like a mixture of both. So it's more like you use black hat skills to get into an organization without their permission to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then, but instead of you using that against maybe like for your own advantage, you report like, oh, I got into your system, I found this, I suggest you like fix them. If you want, you can tell them who you are. If you want, you can just remain anonymous. Hacktivists, these are people who are motivated by social or maybe political dialogues and stuff. So for example, like I can give an example of what's happening in Israel and Palestine. So then now there are people like supporting Israel, there are people are supporting Palestine, and then now they're hackers, because like now this is where activists coming in. It's more like these are just basically activists but online, like hackers. That's why they're called activists. And then there's state-sponsored hackers. These are hackers who are sponsored by the government. So mostly this is political motivated. Some of the hackers here, like NSA in the US, there's CHQ in the UK, Unit 8200 in Israel, there's GRU in Russia, and among other countries like India has, Pakistan, Iran. So yeah, these people, they are mainly focused on stealing secret information, like maybe like, oh, China hacks Russia for whatever reason, maybe they want to steal some formula or maybe some secret chat on how to make planes and things like that. Script kiddies are basically youngsters who just like, I mean, they don't really understand how hacking works, but they just like, you read the script like, oh, okay, you do this, you just copy, Yes, So you can do some hacking here and there, but you are not really you don't know what you're doing. You're just copying things from the website. If something fails, you can't even fix it because you don't know. You get. So this is where most people fall under. Like some of the youngsters I can give were like Lapsus group. I mean, most of them knew what they were doing, but they were youngsters who didn't know what they were doing. They were just using scripts to hack organizations. Okay, infamous cyber attacks. These are some of the popular cyber attacks. If some of you have been following cyber news, cyber news and everything else. So I'll start with Stuxnet. Stuxnet was an attack that was conducted by the USA with Israel. They targeted Iran rather, to stop them from making nuclear weapons. So what they did is they made a malware, which then somehow, I don't know how, was they sent it to Iran using they hacked the engineers who were working at that power plant for where they were enriching their uranium. So maybe you hack their systems. When those guys go for work, they plug in their computers and everything start working, and then they end up infecting their network. So what they did is they sabotaged their plans of making nuclear weapons, and it took them a couple of years back to make nuclear weapons. Even up to now, I don't think they have managed. Yeah. And then in 2014, there was an attack on Sony Pictures. This was by North Korea. So these guys, the reason they hacked Sony around this time, it was because Sony wanted to release a movie about Kim Jong-un. And then if you know anything about North Korea, you know they fear about the Supreme Leader. So to stop that, North Korea hacked Sony Pictures, and then they were told to say, do not release the movie, or else we will release everything we have about you. So Sony didn't even release the movie like the way it was supposed to, worldwide. Another attack again that was done by North Korea. It was WannaCry ransomware. This initially was a zero-day exploit that was found by NSA, even though they didn't disclose to Microsoft. So when NSA was breached by the Equation Group, the Equation Groups store most of the things, like zero-day exploits, some of the tools, and then just release them to the public. So when Lazarus Group, which is like the hackers in North Korea, got a hand of Eternal Blue exploit, they added a bit of modified the code, and then came up with a WannaCry ransomware. So this was targeting outdated Windows systems. When it encrypts your PC, to just lock it and then to ask you to pay Bitcoin. When you pay Bitcoin, again, it wasn't guaranteed that you get your files back. So basically, there are many money. They're focused on making money through their hacks. Another one was just a minute. NotPetya. This was an attack by Russia on Ukraine. Initially, it was a ransomware, or so we thought, but it turns out it was a wiper virus. It was a wiper malware. So what it was doing was when you have access to the system, it will lock it, it will ask for money, and then after some time, it will just wipe the system. They targeted Ukraine, but it got out of hand because the way, I don't know how they wrote their malware, it was just spreading everywhere, because it went to the US, it went to UK, it went to Russia itself, and among other countries. SolarWinds supply chain attack. This was also an attack that was done by Russia, and mostly they just use SolarWinds to hack other organizations through the software updates. each have 10 minutes. Okay, let me just speed up and then do the demo. Last one was like Equifax. Equifax breach. This one they just took advantage of an outdated server that they were running. The patch was already there, but just that they didn't update their systems. If they did, the attack couldn't have happened. But anyway, it happened, and then millions of details, personal identified information was like released to the public. Okay, so now I am going to do a demonstration of some of the things I was talking about. So the objective of this box will be to remote attack it and then gain root privilege on this machine we'll be hacking. So just a minute, so I'll share the box. Can you see? Okay, so this is the box we'll be hacking. As you can see, like I'm supposed to have access to it, but I don't know the password. Yeah, anyway. So this is the box I'll be hacking. And then I'll switch to Kali. Can you see Kali? Kali. Right. Okay, so now just a minute. I'll log in. Just a minute. Okay, so this is my Kali box. Is my terminal visible enough? Okay. So let's say an organization calls us like, we want you to do a pen test. Okay, cool. So what's the first step? First thing is you have to do recon, meaning you have to get the IP of the machine that you're trying to hack. Since we're on the same network, like I am on the same network, the box I'll be hacking, I'll just first check my IP address, which I'll do fconfig. Ifconfig, this is my IP address. Okay, cool. And then I'll do net discover.
Yeah, I'm having a class.
Net.
Okay.
So with this command, it's like you're trying to list all the machines on the network. Okay, we have the IP. Hope you are following. So this is our target. We have the IP here, right? Cool. Now let's see if it's live. I mean, we know it's live, but you just want to confirm. So what do? You ping it. Huh?
I think you can just share. You stop sharing and you share your screen so that the others can be able to see your screen.
All right. So some people couldn't see my screen. Let me just do the thing I did. Yep. That's it. Anyway, yeah, so net discover. You run this to get the IP of the target. Once you, this is our target, so you ping it to see if it's live. When you ping that, so it's live. It responds on network. Okay, cool. So now, what do you do from here? Next, you have to scan it, like using Nmap, to see the open ports, among other things. So you do sudo nmap sv show version of the service, and then I use the F flag to speed up the process, just to scan the ports that are open. That's why I'm using that F flag. That's clear enough. Yeah, anyway, so password. One more time. Okay, so the scanner started. It should take like less than a minute. Okay, so our scan has finished. As you can see, we have port 21 open, port 22, and port 80. Port 80 is basically like Apache. Let me see if it's working. So just press that side there. Okay. As you can see here, there's nothing really. Okay. I don't think there's anything you can do here. So this one is out. SSH, no. I mean, you can using like Hydra, if you have like the password, maybe a list of passwords and username, you can do a brute forcing. But in this case, since we don't have that, we will check the version of this, which is like a service running on port 21, which is FTP. So I'll check if the vulnerability of this version exists. So I'll use okay, so as you can see, there's an exploit for this version of Apache. Is it Apache? No, FTP rather. Yes, there's an exploit for this version of FTP. So now from here, I'll start Metasploit, which is MSF console. So when this opens, as you can see here, there are like about over 1,000 exploits, payloads, encoders, evasions, and other things. But for us, like this evening, I'll be using this mainly just like to use the exploits to hack our system. So I'll search for that version of FTP, which is this one. We found it, it's here. Like this is the exploit we're going to use. So you just say use 0 to select it. Okay. And then from here, you have to see to see the options. Like what options do you need to put in place for you to have a successful hack? So what you do is options. As you can see, there's Ara host, which is like a remote host, which I assume is this one. Our tag, yeah. So like as you can see, our port, the port is already set, which is 21. Ara host It is required, but it is not set. So what you get the IP of your target, which is this one here, and then you just set it. So you do set host. Oh, snap, my bad. Yeah, here. Set host. Okay, and then you choose a payload. Show payloads. So as you can see, we have about 8 payloads. Maybe wondering like why there are so many. So sometimes like some of the payload can be doing the same thing, but it's configured differently. So maybe it was written by these aspects were written by different people, and their approach was different. So you need to know which one works best for you. In this case, I'll go with 4, which is like what is this? Payload, reverse Unix command shell. So I'll use this because I want to get a reverse shell that I'll use to have access to that remote target. So just say set payload, and then do options again, see what's missing. Okay, so here what air port, which is our local port, which is set 444, air host, which is our IP. So here we need to get our IP so that when that machine wants to connect back, it needs to know what machine to connect to, which is our IP. So we do set air host there, submit, and then you show options. Okay, when everything is set, you can either just do run or exploit to do the hack. So in this case I just do run, and then you wait, like start reverse TCP handler, then give it some time to send the payload, and then if it's like that thing is vulnerable, we have access to the remote target. Okay, as you can see, I'm saying command shell session 1 opens. This is our target. This is our local machine, my Kali, and then this is the target we are hacking, meaning I have access to that machine remotely. And as you can see here, I have a reverse shell, but it's not interactive. Let me just show you what I mean. So if I do ls, just like it just brings all that. So for you to make it interactive, for it to be something like this, for example, like ls, you just use maybe like Python. There are many ways you can do this, but I'll just go with Python here. So just do Python C IPTY. That's one. In bash. Okay. Now as you can see, our terminal is kind of interactive. Cool. So now, what can you do from here? As you can see, let me just say, who am I? Just to check who I am on this system. Who am I? I am root. So meaning we've met our objective of being like a root user on this system. But let's say you want to know the password, like, okay, I want to know the actual password. So maybe like if I have physical access to that machine, I can just go there, type it, and then have access. So what do? So now you go to the root, to the shadow folder. This is where Kali Linux stores its password, etc shadow. So what you do is cut etc shadow. As you can see, this is Marlinspike, our target. So and then this is the password. As you can see, it is encrypted. I mean, yeah, it's like a hash. so you can't really make sense out of it. So what you do is just copy the whole thing, and then just a minute, we are going to use John the Ripper to crack that password. So what the first thing I'll do is I'll create a text file. So I'll go to my desktop, cd desktop, directory to desktop, snap. Desktop, and then here I'll create a text file. So I'm used to create a text file without password.txt. You can see it has appeared here, and then I'll use mousepad to open it, just like mousepad. This is the text editor, so just use password. Okay, and then here we just paste in the username and the hashed password that we've gotten from the root folder of that of our target machine. We save that just to see if it has been saved. Now, so I use cat password. Okay, so we'll now be cracking this hash password thing, hash. So what do we do here? So now we use John the Ripper. So just do John just the show password. Then, as you can see, this is the username, this is the password. It's just to turns out, so the username and the password are just the same. And just to prove that that's the actual password, let me just switch my screen. Can you see this one? Okay, so now we just log in with that password we've used. We've cracked. So just do Melinspike. And we are in. And then as you can see here, like on this folder, I mean on this desktop, the remote thing, there's just like two folders. So just to show you that I have access to this, I'll create another folder on the desktop using my Kali. So let's say maybe since I have snap. I can also log in using SSH. Okay, I'll just do cd desktop, just clear the screen, ls. So as you can see here, like I can create mkdir, and then ls cd hot. image. We'll leave a note for them. Type it to so now we just check. So you see, when you come to this target, you find like that file has been created. So let's say maybe you're an IT administrator and everything, you're doing a pen test in your organization. Just to prove that you are there, you just like come here, you log in, it's like, oh, this guys actually did it. And then you see, here, you have been breached. And so yeah, that was just a simple demonstration of what it is that I do here at Digital-Safe. And one thing you should learn from this is that as users, you need to be updating your systems, every time, because this thing was hacked just because it was out of date. And then 2, stop using default credentials. Like, change your passwords frequently and use complicated passwords, because the more complex the password is, the more difficult it is to hack it. So yeah, that was it, and thank you very much. Emmanuel, do you have something to say?
Thank you, Edwin, for that interesting class, and I hope that we all were following and have appreciated how ethical hacking actually is done, and you have mentioned the steps at which this hacking actually occurs. And we thank you even for the piece of advice that you have given, which speaks into cyber hygiene. We need to ensure that our softwares, applications are up to date to avoid these vulnerabilities that they come with, and make it very easy for hackers to hack into them and breach into our systems. So there's quite a lot that we need to learn. Of course, passwords is one of the issues that has been mentioned. We need to go back and see whether we have strong passwords, complicated, meaning they have mixed characters, symbols, alphanumeric, and all that type of thing. So we thank you, Mr. Edwin, for that wonderful class, and we thank you all that have joined and have been in this short course. It's very interesting, and we hope that you continue to learn more on your spare time about ethical hacking and what is actually involved. For those that obviously have been following and had their machines open, I'm sure they've gained one skill up their sleeves right now. So it's really interesting, and we hope more classes such as these could continue so that we can learn more and more. So we thank you guys. We hope that we can all also attempt the quizzes. I know people are having issues with quizzes. We hope that you registered and have managed to attempt all quizzes. That's from the first presentation, short course, up until now. Yes, we are having quite a number of responses, which is good, but I hope that you also follow the procedure as well. Register, you receive an email. After that email, you'll be allocated a class. In that class, you can go see your material, the material that has been shared, as well as the quizzes. I think Mike has something just to say before we actually close this course. Okay.
I think actually Chole does. Chole has a hand. Chole.
Oh, sorry, I had that my hand by accident. But just to note, whatever you have learned in here, just use it for good, any evil. Thank you.
Mike, Emmanuel, can I chime in?
Yeah, sure. You can go ahead. I just wanted to hear from Cholo, but no, you can go ahead.
All right, thanks. I would like to thank you everyone for taking part in this class and everyone who was consistent with joining in, like Emmanuel mentioned, but also a really big thank you to Digital Safe team, Edwin, Mike, Emmanuel, Sambo, everyone who took time out of your busy schedules to just collaborate with Zikta and give these important classes. We will be coming back. I don't think this would be the first and the last time that we're undertaking this these classes, just to give Zambian students an opportunity to have some sort of cybersecurity certification, and also the important stuff that you've taught today. I think, Edwin, you really touched on a crucial technical part of cybersecurity. I think most people have really appreciated that, even just the build-up we've had from the first class to this one now. From Zikta's end, we really appreciate Digital Safe for taking your time. I know it wasn't an easy thing. This is outside of your working hours. For all the students who took part, like Cholo said, please use what you've learned for good. I'm sure even in the beginning, when the ethical hacking class started, I'm sure you explained to what it's for and what it can be used for. Don't find yourself wanting. Obviously, you know we have laws, cybersecurity laws that govern the nation, so let's be straight about it. If you'd like any more information about Digital Safe, you can go to their website, just see what other services they offer and how best you can be more acquainted with them. If you're still having issues with the quizzes by now, yeah, the emails, you have the emails that you can use to get your information out there. So we are now going to start putting together all the information. So the attendees will be matching the attendees from the classroom. So you don't need to necessarily fill in an attendance form. Teams gives a form of everybody who took part in the class. So we'll be matching that to the quiz and then coming up with a certificate. So the certificates will be sent out the first week of December. So we'll email them the same emails that we've been using to send out the links, and we'll also try use the classrooms just to make sure everyone gets their certificate. Otherwise, thank you so much, Digital Safe. From Zikta's end, we're really grateful, and thank you so much, everyone, for signing up. Mike, would you like to close the meeting?
Okay, with those remarks from Emma, I think this is the end of today's class and the entire program of these cybersecurity courses that were offered by Zikta in collaboration with Digital Safe. So with these three remarks that I have, you can go ahead and exit the meeting. Thank you.